Welcome, YouTube friends and family, to today's edition of the Wellness Homesteader. So first, y'all, I'm so sorry that I let y'all down on the Saturday live. I will be doing a scheduled live, maybe once things calm down a little bit in my life, because I'm getting to wonder if they ever will. So if you're new to my channel, first of all, welcome. I'm so glad to have you, y'all. We just continue to grow. A few new subscribers every day, so I am so glad to have each and every one of you, and I am so blessed to have all of you returning subscribers. Some of you who've been with me since day one, since my lighting was poor and I was very nervous. Got over the nerve thing. Now I feel like I'm just talking to all my friends, and many of you have become good friends to me. I appreciate your emails, your cards, your words of encouragement. So let's see if I can do this without crying. I think I can. Y'all know I cry really easily. So I went to see my mom Friday, and my mom was having a really bad day. Not so much pain driven, I don't think. When you have dementia, your days can be quite variable. So today you may think the president is John F. Kennedy, like mom did in the hospital. And tomorrow you totally know who the president is. It just depends on what part of your brain is able to fire at that time. So my sweet little mama can be quite a handful when she's having a bad day. And I got pretty upset, not at her, just at the situation. You know, I just wish it was different. Well, guys, whenever I have a big upset like that, and I've been kind of hanging on the ragged edge anyway, I started with the lupus flare, and a lot of what I have when I have a lupus flare, and this is probably TMI, but I'm just going to tell you guys, my irritable bowel flares up so bad that I spend the day in the restroom, and being on a live, I didn't want to be like, oh, excuse me. So I thought it was better for all of us not to have to experience a live yesterday. So I'm going to try to do a little bit extra this week if I possibly can. So I may even do a couple videos today. So if you see me in this shirt again, I do bathe and change clothes. My son will say, Mom, you should have done a wardrobe change. He's so cute. So this morning, I thought we would finally start working on our kombucha because I want to do a second ferment. Y'all, I will leave links to everything in the description box to my Amazon affiliate site. And yes, I do receive a small amount of compensation for qualifying purchases. Please don't feel obligated or like I'm trying to sell you something. I'm simply sharing what has worked for me. And guys, this book is excellent, this kombucha book. So basically it starts out with how to just make the basic kombucha, which is fermented tea. Then it goes into how to do the second fermentation process, where we're going to turn our flat tea, if you will, into a bubbly tea or carbonated tea. And it goes through different ways that you can do that, as well as it goes through different flavor recipes. Then in the back, guys, they have like everything. So they have a root beer blend. And y'all, I don't drink soda anymore just because it's empty calories. I figure it's probably not really good for me. I haven't drank soda in years on the regular. I'll have an occasional Coke. But this has sassafras bark, sarsaparilla, wintergreen, and vanilla bean powder. So we might have to try that. It has a mint tea, which I think would be fabulous. And guys, my mint is coming up. I've got a few big dandelions in my mint and lemon balm patch I'm gonna have to dig up. And the girls, y'all, the girls are grounded. I had been letting them out every day just to run the yard, and they do scratch. I mean, that's what chickens do. And I don't mind that they're scratching in the flower beds because they're really just pulling up the weeds. They're not bothering. Okay, well, Jolene kind of likes the taste of a lily, but they're not hurting anything. But Friday they got into the garden, and I had planted onion sets. And before I could say lickety split and I was out there with them, they had already dug up two. So I will let them free range some. I wish I had a way I could fence off the garden so they couldn't get into it. But y'all have had more fence troubles. If I spend any money on fence, it's going to be my big fence anyway. So yes, they are rather grounded and not allowed to be out. But I like having the mint for them as well. I put it in their laying boxes. It's supposed to help them lay more easily. You know, a couple of my chickens take a lot longer to lay. The barred rocks are in and out. Lay that egg, I'm out. Marigold, my Rhode Island Red, she takes quite a while, but the one that takes the longest is Violet, bless her heart. She tries, but she's been giving me an egg every day. I'm getting 4 eggs a day, y'all. And I do sell my eggs, so if you're local and you want some eggs from the girls, drop me a comment below or send me an email to sweethoneybath@gmail.com. Okay, enough. So let me show you, talk a little bit about where we are and what we're going to do. Now my hands are clean, I just washed them, and if you'd see this, yeah, I got water all over myself. So here is my SCOBY. So this was the original SCOBY right here, and it has grown in size and thickness. And then this was actually the layer that was on top. Now you'll notice I did cut a little piece off. It had a discoloration on it. I don't think it was necessarily a mold or a mildew. It certainly didn't seem to be, but I just thought better safe than sorry. So why does kombucha get bubbly? Are we brewing hooch? Stay tuned, and I'm going to give you a brief explanation about second fermenting and what it does for your kombucha. So many of you probably drink or have consumed a soda. And you know, if you shake the can, used to be bottles back in my day, and then you open it, the liquid will shoot out because it's caught under pressure. So carbonation is a solution of carbon dioxide, or CO2, dissolved in a liquid. And there's a couple ways to do it. You can do what's called forced carbonation, which is what our soda pop is. So it's forcing that liquid, the CO2, into the liquid to create that bubbliness. The other way to do it is fermentation, and that's natural carbonization. That's hard to say. So there's a couple ways that you can do a secondary brew. So I have tasted, this is day 13 on my kombucha, guys. It is perfect. It tastes so delicious. So it's not super vinegary. If I wanted a more sour taste, I would leave it longer. Now I've carefully put my SCOBY on the dish drainer here to just prevent it from getting contaminated, because we're going to use it again for our next batch. So there's different ways that you can flavor. You can actually flavor a primary batch. So in this case, I've made a batch of kombucha. I could take out 4 cups of the liquid and then rebrew the tea like we did step 1, add the cold water, add the sugar, and add the flavoring agents all in there. One thing to know is if you're going to experiment with fermenting in your whole batch, you'll need different SCOBYs because the SCOBY will take on a different flavor. Now, trust me, guys, you're going to have more SCOBYs than you know what to do with. I could split that big one in 2, but I already have 2 pretty good size ones. So never fear. The other way you can do it is you can actually do your second fermenting in the bottle. Now I've put some frozen blueberries in here. I had just a handful left over, so I'm going to do 3 bottles that way. The other 3 bottles, I am going to finely chop up some ginger. So I'm going to make sort of people call it ginger beer, but the fermentation process, while it does produce carbonization, it does not produce alcohol. Like you're not making hooch, guys. I suppose if you left it long enough and let it ferment long enough, it could actually have a higher percent of alcohol. But if you're concerned about the alcohol content, don't be. So one of the really neat things about this book, by the way, it's usually around 1% or less in a naturally fermented kombucha. So, and you're not drinking it in volumes, so it's negligible, guys. I mean, think about your extracts. That is done usually with alcohol. Okay, I just wanted to show. You can infuse it with herbs. You can infuse it with superfoods. You can flavor it to put in smoothies as your liquid. You might not want it too carbonated in that case. I'm having trouble finding it. Okay, wait for it, here we go. You can make a root beer kombucha with sassafras bark, sarsaparilla bark, dried wintergreen, and vanilla bean powder. So I think that's pretty exciting too. And also a mint. So I do have mint growing, but I don't have a ton up yet, so I'm not going to do mint. I am going to actually I've peeled some ginger here. I'm going to dice that up really fine. I'm going to put it in the bottom of the bottle. Then I'll bring you back as we start pouring off and sealing the bottles, and then I'll talk about how you store them going forward. Stay tuned. All right, y'all, I'm going to try to do this without slopping and spilling, but it's not easy. So if my back is a bit to you, I hope you'll understand. Maybe if we put it over here. You do want to leave about maybe an inch head space. Yeah, I can barely smell the ginger, and I just diced it up really fine. I did not grate it. You could grate it. It would probably give you a little bit more flavor. Let me get this one filled. Now, you definitely want to leave at least a cup. Let me go ahead and wipe off my notes here because it's now all over my hands. Because your SCOBY, in order to keep it alive, needs some of that liquid to feed from. And I will probably go ahead and make another batch. I'm hesitant here. We might do just like a half. Excuse my coffee maker turning off. All right, so I'm sure that's more than a cup. I am going to put my SCOBY back in. Now, these bottles have, let me show you the inside of one. They have a seal on the inside. My son actually purchased these for me, and I believe they are called True Kombucha bottles. I'll check on Amazon and see if I can find them. So now what we want to do is we want to leave this out on the counter for 1 to 4 days for it to continue to ferment and get that bubbliness, that carbonation that we're looking for. If it is warm in the house and it really seems to be carbonating quickly, you can certainly slow it down by putting it into the refrigerator. So once these have sat out for 1 to 4 days, I will go ahead and refrigerate them and enjoy them. They are fine to drink right now. I might have to drink this one, just saying. Very, very tasty. You can add honey, you can add sweetener to it. I don't find, remember we put a cup of sugar to help the fermentation process and to start. Now the SCOBY has fed off of that sugar, and that's why it's grown. So what the actual caloric content of this is, it is surprisingly low. I can't give you an exact, but I can show you this. So, yeah, I knocked this over, so it's a little sticky here. This is the Synergy Raw Kombucha that you can buy at Aldi. It is only 50 calories for 473 mils, which is 30 in an ounce. So maybe like a 12 ouncer. So it's very low in calories. I don't find that it needs additional. Now this, guys, I have to tell you, is really good. It has kiwi, raspberry, lemon, and ginger in it. And it is, it's so good. But guys, it's almost $5 a bottle. And we just have a lot of love in this and very little money, you know. A little bit of money for the sugar and a little bit of money for the tea. And we have, well, it would have been 5 bottles. I was just afraid to use too much of the liquid because I want to brew another batch today. So drop me a comment below. What do you think about trying the second ferment to flavor your kombucha with fruit or even herbs? And you know what else you can do with it, y'all? If it goes too far, like you kind of forget about it or whatever, and is way too vinegary for your taste, you can put some herbs in, like you would a salad dressing, like Italian seasonings, into your kombucha, and then you can use it as the vinegar component in an oil and vinegar dressing. So don't throw it away if it goes a little bit too far. But don't drink it if you don't like it. All right, y'all. I hope to see you very soon. I again apologize over the whole, I'm going to do a live. No, wait, I'm not going to do a live. I hope y'all understand. It happens. I will see you all a little later this week, Lord willing. You'll actually be watching this on Tuesday. And Tuesday is the day, it's Sunday here today. Tuesday is the day that I have a care conference for my mom to talk about her move back to the memory care assisted living, to talk about a hospice consult. That's hard for me to say, y'all, but you know, if you live long enough, we all are going to be in that situation. And I want my mom to be more comfortable than what she's been. And I wanted to give her every opportunity to improve her strength and her abilities through therapy, but she's really not making any progress. And it's kind of getting to the point where I feel guilty for pushing her because she's tired. So anyway, I hope you'll understand that. So I'll plan on seeing you with an update after that. Again, if things go sideways, because Medicare could pick any day of the week to cut her because she's not really making progress in therapy, and I can't get on to do a video, or I can't squeeze in a video, I certainly will let you all know. So until I see you again, please go ahead and smash that like button. Be healthy, be well, be blessed. Take care.